Good morning. Welcome to Wedgwood Community Church. We are glad that you are here with us this morning on this beautiful February morning, Super Bowl Sunday. We know that a lot of you are eager for the game tonight, but we're glad that you joined us this morning. I am Melba Evans, moderator for Wedgwood Community Church. And we'll go first to our announcements this morning. Announcements and upcoming events for Wedgwood Community Church. Next Sunday, February 14th, Reverend Dorothy Smart will be speaking about love. Dorothy is a member of Wedgwood Church. She is ordained by the University of Metaphysics, and she will approach this topic of love from the aspect of a metaphysician. She'll speak on the law of attraction and the deeper law of vibration. So we look forward to hearing that next Sunday from Dorothy. Then the next Sunday, February 21st, Donna Beal will be speaking on Lent. Thursday, February the 18th at 7 o'clock will be the next meeting of our Social Justice Book Club. We have just begun the text Begin Again, James Baldwin's America and its Urgent Lessons for Our Own by Eddie Glaude. And we would love for you to join us. This week we will have read through chapter 4. So it's not too late to hop on board. This is an awesome book club, lots of great discussions. I think we're all learning a great deal from this experience. So we'd love for you to join us. The Zoom link is always posted on the Wedgwood Facebook page, or if you don't see it, just contact the church. Humanity and the Philosophy Discussion Group were meeting at Wedgwood, but they are now meeting on Zoom on their regular schedule. Their permanent Zoom link is posted on our Facebook page, or you can contact the church or contact Bill Van Fleet for more information on either of these two groups. We need your help. Wedgwood Church is working with Queen City Assisted Living to adopt residents that are in need of a friend, basically. If you would like to participate in this project, contact Travis, one of our members, at this email address, and he will give you the details. Social Justice Committee will meet on Zoom on Tuesday, February the 9th at 6:30. If you are interested in joining this committee, please contact the church and we will be sure that you get the Zoom link to attend. This committee will be talking about how Wedgwood Church can do more to help our community, what projects we can take on. We're also asking that you please, if you have not, complete the form that is in the newsletter and on our Facebook page to help us update our records. We really need your help in that. It takes about 3 minutes to do it. Even if you've been a member here for a long time, we need your updated information, even if it has stayed the same. You need to let us know that. Constitution Revision Committee will have its second meeting on Zoom on Thursday, February 25th at 6:30. It's not too late to join this committee either. Just contact the church and we'll get the information to you. The other committees that are forming: church service planning, technology, and stewardship. You can also contact the church if you would like to lead or be a member of any one of those committees. Liz and I are working on children and youth programs. Liz is the contact person taking the lead on this. We have had families inquire about Wedgwood, so we want to get our youth and children's activities up and going again as much as we can on Zoom. If you are interested in helping with this, volunteering with this in any way, contact Liz at the church email. We need church giving, regular giving. Please think about giving back. Wedgwood Church is here every Sunday morning for you. Wedgwood Church is here for you anytime you are in need. If you need food, if you need meals, If someone is sick, if you need rides to doctor's offices, contact the church and someone will reach out to help you. So please think about giving back to Wedgwood so that we can keep our church going and fulfill our mission. There are 3 ways to give to Wedgwood. One is mailing your offering to Wedgwood Church at this address, giving by text, or Venmo. Any one of these ways to give to Wedgwood Church. Our food pantry is still open and thriving with lots of patrons coming for help. We appreciate financial donations to the pantry as well. You can mail them to this address, 3520 DeWitt Lane, and the zip code on that is 28211, I believe. And there's more information here for giving. If you would like to volunteer at the food pantry, we would love to have you volunteer starting at 3:30, and then with bagging and then distributing from 5:30 to 6:30. Masks are required. We do have one new guideline that we need to follow due to liability. Volunteers must be at least 16 years old and accompanied by an adult if under the age of 18. Some of the items we need at the food pantry, we can always also use ramen noodles. But any staples are welcomed. We will soon be having refrigerators and freezers so that we can take foods that need refrigeration. Anytime you need Wedgwood, as we said, Wedgwood Church is always here for you. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We have a brand new web page that we hope you have already looked at. You can email us. That email is checked on a daily basis. And the phone number is available 24/7. So please don't hesitate to call us when you want to reach out with suggestions, ideas, service projects, or you're in need or someone that you know is in need. We are here to help. Thank you. And now it is my privilege to turn the service over to Liz this morning.
Okay, so welcome everyone. We are so excited to see everyone this morning on a beautiful sunshiny day in February. Didn't think I'd say that with all this rain. So it is Black History Month, and even though every month should be Black History Month in my opinion. So today we're going to do things a little bit differently. The topic is overarching is going to be on anti-racism. But before we do our deep dive, Ashanti is going to lead us in our extravagant welcome.
We are all welcome here. Welcome to a church that works for peace, justice, equality, and care of Mother Earth. An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed, or full of joy. We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers striving to learn and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders. Like Jesus, we focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day. One of the ways we seek to heal the world and ourselves is through sharing parts of our personal story. We are all welcome here.
Thank you, Ashanti.
You're welcome.
So next up, we'd like to do our celebrations, remembrances, any prayer requests. Love to hear from you.
Well, we're celebrating my first daughter's birthday on Valentine's Day. She'll be 39, and the same day is Chase's birthday, and Chase will be 10, hitting the double digits. So I'm excited to. You know, Valentine's Day has always been special, but then when the kids were born, it's even more special. So that's coming up. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, so you got double birthdays. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I just like to mention and celebrate, and I just learned that this week, and watching some historians talk about Charlotte, Queen Charlotte from Germany, that we now know through a lot of research that she was of mixed race. And, that wasn't taught to us in our history books. We didn't know that she had Black ancestors. And it just points out, an example of how Black history just has the contributions of Blacks, the African diaspora just don't get told. And I celebrate that new historians are coming forward with these messages. It just was a great story. I learned a lot.
And the celebration along with that is that the North Carolina School Board has revised its standards to include racism. I can't remember, so I don't want to go through the list, but in the standards for schools in North Carolina. And so Charlotte Mecklenburg is adopted new textbooks. Now, this isn't everything. It's a step in the right direction. It's not all inclusive of everything that we want in there. The interesting thing was that a certain segment on the school board, I won't say, you all can figure it out, did not want the word systemic racism in the curriculum. They were okay with racism, but not systemic racism. Puts the blame back on us, so they're not going to accept that. Same with discrimination, and there was silly things about wording, but it all went down to, oh no, it's not on me, But at least we've made a step forward. We're getting some things into the curriculum in North Carolina, and Charlotte will begin this fall. And we'll just keep pushing. We got to keep pushing, and we got to go from there. So that is a celebration.
Yeah, and I have another celebration. The Mecklenburg County officially adopted a resolution to protect LGBT rights this week for LGBTQ people. So I think that's awesome. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that we found out Vicky has a labral tear in her shoulder.
Oh,
And so basically there's no solution for that other than therapy and building the muscles up around it. They can do surgery, but there could be some complications from that. So we're going to hopefully get some good results from continuing therapy, but at least now we know what's going on.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck on your
Do you
recovery,
have the
Vicki.
pain relief now? I mean, is there anything for pain relief? I know you were suffering a lot with it.
I know it's painful trying to lift things up.
Yes. Okay.
Any other celebrations, remembrances, prayer requests, anything to kind of keep our thoughts for?
Chris.
Yeah, as a mama, I always worry about my kids. And it's minus 33 in Calgary this morning. So please keep in mind my son and his family and that their heat stays on. I'm a mama that worries, and he's used to it, and they're used to it, and the infrastructure's ready for it, and it's not going to get above 0 all week. So
Wow.
just send some warm thoughts to our friends in the north.
Mm-hmm.
My dearest friend is in Florida, and she has had a mental break. I think that the stress of the COVID has just really taken its toll. And she is not able to get help. In Florida, it seems unless you're suicidal or homicidal, you cannot get committed anywhere to really get intensive help. So I'll just ask for prayers for my friend Joyce and for all who are suffering from a mental illness.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll want to come hang out with us one Sunday.
Yeah, I think she probably will. She's such a logical person that I told her she may end up writing poetry when this is over.
This is true.
All right, well, if nobody has any others, you can do whatever feels good to you for the next minute or so. You can close your eyes or keep them open. Just kind of sit and pray, meditate, whatever speaks to you for the next minute or so. Beautiful. I could listen to that music for probably 20 minutes and not even realize it's been 20 minutes.
Right, that's so beautiful, huh?
Yeah, it's so relaxing. Yeah. All right, so today we're going to do our very first children's moment of 2021. And I thought I was doing a little bit of research because I love children's moments where you read a book. But I found, and I thought this was timely because I know that the Social Justice Book Club has read Ibram X. Kendi's books before. Well, he wrote a children's book called Antiracist Baby, and I found a read-along of that story. So I thought I'd play it for us today. So if anyone has any littles around.
Let me see if I can get them.
Okay. That'd be the perfect book for today.
Beautiful book, and I loved all the diversity in the book.
Mm-hmm. Gavin, did you like that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out my arms.
Mm-hmm.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Watch out for the cord.
Okay. So before we dive into my talk, I actually want to show another video. And this video is by Nicole Ellis and the Washington Post, and it's specifically on how to be anti-racist. All right, so that video is from the summer in 2020, and right after George Floyd was murdered. But I think it still is really relevant, and there's a lot of hard truths in the video. But I think it's still really important. And I want to take this moment to acknowledge my privilege as a white person, even having this platform today to talk about these things. As a white person, I feel like it is my responsibility, especially as the video said, to speak up about it, because it's really easy for us to become complacent. And we live in a culture of white supremacy and white colonialism in this country. Even though I, as Liz, may not have built that system of oppression, I benefit from it. And every single white person in this country benefits from it. So I think it's really important to talk about that today. Okay, so sometimes I feel like I don't really have the words to process what the year 2020 was like. And I can't think of a single other recent year, at least in my short lifetime, that has seen such an uncovering of our country's long festering wounds, that so many people pretended have healed or never even existed at all. Even on a local level, so many hard truths have come to light in the past year. And people everywhere have been stuck at home in the face of a global pandemic, being forced to confront who they are versus who they thought they were. And the year 2020 doesn't really look that different. And that's been painful. But that pain is necessary. And I'm going to ask everyone, both on this call and everyone who might be watching in the future, to sit with that pain today and confront not only the wounds that you have received, but also the wounds that you may have inflicted on others. Because that is where the healing begins. It starts with you. Many of you know that in my day job, I run an after-school program for teens. In each of my teens' classes, we come up with a collective list of rights and responsibilities. And the purpose of this is to make sure that everyone in the class feels safe, seen, and heard when discussing difficult or uncomfortable topics. It's also to hold accountability. Because none of us is perfect. We are all learners, and everyone makes mistakes. But accountability helps us heal and grow. And one of the tenets that we always include in our rights and responsibilities is honor the intent, own the impact. Last spring, we hosted a virtual graduation for the teens in our program who graduated from high school. In the commencement speech, we talked about this, and I'd like to take a moment to read an excerpt right now. As each of us moves through the world, we have to navigate our own set of privileges, knowing that with these privileges comes responsibility. Whether it's privilege based on skin color, gender, socioeconomic status, ability, or something else, it is the responsibility of every one of us to honor the fact that in our interactions with others, our privilege can blind us to the harm we may cause. Even if our intention was not to cause harm, we have to own the impact. That requires humility that isn't always easy to accept. But humility is how we grow, and humility is how we create change. That's why it's important to honor your intent, but own your impact. Although we look a little different today, Wedgwood is a church with long-running roots in Christianity. It's just a fact. And in the Christian tradition, the mission of the church is to spread the gospel of Jesus. But it seems that the global Christian church has a really hard time being humble and acknowledging the destruction that it leaves in its wake. Historically, the global Christian church has used and still uses the Bible as a weapon to justify slavery, racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, and so much more. The Christian church has been at the center of so much abuse, violence, murder, and even genocide. The Christian church must honor its intent, but own its impact. Instead of turning a blind eye, the Christian church, especially in America, must acknowledge and confront its white supremacist roots that led to the genocide of indigenous peoples, as well as the enslavement, degradation, and persecution of Black people in America that continues to this day. And on January 6th, 2021, we cannot forget that white supremacists stormed the US Capitol waving crosses while claiming to be doing God's work. I can't think of anything more antithetical to the teachings of Jesus than that. The Christian church must honor its intent, but own its impact. And yet, Christianity, along with Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, Sikhism, and many other faith and non-faith traditions, have also been at the heart of social justice and equality movements, particularly in the US. Because although there are many white preachers and white congregations that would rather not rock the boat and speak out against injustice, I believe that Jesus, if he were a living, breathing person, would be at the front of every social justice protest. After all, Jesus was persona non grata to the Pharisees and the Romans for a reason. Jesus regularly practiced civil disobedience. How quickly these white Christians forget that Jesus was the ultimate social justice warrior. Now I turn specifically to all the white folks watching. So I ask you to receive what I'm about to say. If you have paid any attention to the events that have happened and remain silent, then you are complicit in the violence and corruption. It was the great civil rights leader and Baptist minister, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." There is nothing neutral about white silence. White silence encourages the oppressor, who is also usually white. It's not enough for you to just say that racism is wrong. You must be actively anti-racist. You must open your eyes to the systems that have been put in place that benefit white people over others. And you must challenge these systems and the people that enable them. If you care at all about equality, about creating a better world for everyone, not just the people that you find it acceptable to associate with, then you are required to speak up, even when it's uncomfortable. Your silence is a privilege, and that privilege costs lives. If you claim to be a Christian but refuse to speak up and demand justice for the murder of Black people at the hands of the police, who are also agents of white supremacy, by the way, then you need to take a good long look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself what Jesus would say if he were standing right next to you. If you claim to be a Christian but refuse to speak up and demand justice for the murder of transgender people of color, then you need to reevaluate your moral compass. If you claim to be a Christian but refuse to hold your own religion accountable for the pain and destruction it has caused in the name of Jesus, then you are just as guilty as a police officer who put his knee on the neck of George Floyd until he took his last breath. If you claim to be a good white person, but refuse to be actively anti-racist, then maybe you aren't the good white person you thought you were. Now, to the white folks who want to speak up, but don't know where to start, let me first remind you that the people in the video that I just showed you specifically said for you to not go and ask your Black friends for resources, because Black people are tired, and Black people are not required to do that emotional labor for you. There are plenty of resources on the internet, and I'd be more than happy to share them with you. I'll even post them on our Facebook group. In fact, here are some direct actions that you can take beyond joining our Social Justice Book Club, which is an awesome place to start. You can actively support Black businesses. You can watch Ibram X. Kendi's TED Talk on anti-racism. It's fantastic. You can follow Erica Hart on social media and really listen to what they have to say. You can call or write your local representatives and talk to them about systemic racism in Charlotte and demand justice for what the CMPD did to the Black Lives Matter protesters last summer. You can also remember that allyship is a verb, not a noun. It requires constant action. Black people don't get to take a break and stop being Black people for a day. LGBTQ folks don't get to stop being LGBTQ. That's not how any of this works. So if you consider yourself to be an ally, don't ever stop pushing for change. Wedgwood, don't ever stop pushing for change. Challenge your racist grandparents. Stop making excuses. Racism isn't a generational thing. Racism is a hate thing. So be anti-racist. Do better. Be better. The world would be a better place for it. Thank you. And while you sit with that, Ashanti is going to sing a song that I can't think to be more perfect.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much. what it used to be. There is so much hatred, war and poverty. Well, won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it now, just you and me. Wake up all the doctors, make the old people well. Maybe then they'll understand to catch all the hell. They don't have so very long before their judgment day. So won't you make them happy before they pass away? Wake up all the builders, time to build a new land. I know we can do it if we all lend a hand. The only thing we have to do is to put it in our mind. Surely things will work out, 'cause they do it all the time, yeah. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it now, just you and me. Change it down, I can't do it alone. Change it down, I need some help now, I can't do it alone. Ooh, wake up, everybody. Wake up, everybody. Wake up, everybody. I said, wake up, everybody. Yeah. Need a little help. Wake up.
That was awesome. So I'd like to close with a few words inspired by Herb Silverman. Each of us is a minority with respect to something. It might be race, spiritual beliefs, or lack thereof, gender identity, sexual orientation, nationality, or any other way that we may be regarded as different. Each of us is also a part of some majority. It's when we wear our majority hats that we need to be the most mindful of how we treat others. We must pledge our best efforts to help one another and defend the rights of all people. What divides us is not so much our religious differences in this diverse country, but the degree of commitment we have to equal freedom of conscience for all people. We are gathered today, both spiritual and secular members of our community, with the shared belief that we must treat all living things with respect and dignity. I don't ask you to close your eyes, but to keep your eyes constantly open to the serious issues that our country can and should solve or improve. I don't ask you to bow your heads, but to look up at what you can accomplish by applying each of your talents and experiences to the problems that confront us. As we all work together, may we gain strength and sustenance from one another through reason and compassion. Thank you.